No one comes well prepared before they start the journey. Everyone comes with a lack of clarity, and it is about letting go of your intellectual ego and taking the right help so that you're able to get into that zone of clarity.
So it is basically smart work and a lot of practice that comes in and that kicks in those moments, sir.
Hello everyone, I welcome you all for another podcast of the series Unlock the Officer Within You, where we wish to share with you or wish to aim to give you clarity about UPSC preparation rather than just a generic advice. And today we have with us another of our previous student, Shivansh Rathee, who has scored rank 63 this year. So I would like to welcome Shivansh for this podcast. Thank you for making time in spite of your present service to come to this particular interview, Shivansh. Okay. So Shivansh, just to quickly introduce yourself, could you please tell our audience about yourself and what do you do presently and what is about your past? Yeah.
Namaskar everyone, I am Shivansh Rathee and I have secured an All India rank 63 in UPSC Civil Services exam 2023. This was my third attempt, and in my second attempt last year through the reserve list I had made it into the DANX Civil Service. And currently I am attached with the office of SDM Delhi Kent in the New Delhi district. And I took a mentorship intensive program from Suman sir at National IAS Academy.
Wonderful. Thank you, Shivansh, for introducing yourself. So let's break down your journey, Shivansh, as to what exactly happened over your journey through this particular podcast. So to begin with, Shivansh, when you started this exam, okay, see now you're on the other side of the journey, but let's go back to the past and try to see, when you started this exam, what were your roadblocks according to you during that time, which you overcame to be here today?
So the initial roadblock was when I started preparing, I had no guidance in the sense that I did not have a book list what to study. I did not know how long to study per day. And even after that, sir, there were roadblocks in the sense that I did not know how many answers to write, how many tests to give. So the initial roadblock was about lack of clarity about how to proceed with this exam. And even apart from that, sir, there were certain subjects in which I was not getting clarity how to improve my score. And to overcome that, sir, of course, you helped me realize my mistakes, sir. And apart from that, sir, I worked a lot on my answer writing. And I believe, sir, that's what made the difference this year, sir.
Right. So students, the first thing I would like all of you to observe here is that no one comes well prepared before they start the journey. Everyone comes with a lack of clarity, and it is about letting go of your intellectual ego and taking the right help so that you're able to get into that zone of clarity. Thank you, Shivansh, for sharing that. So to begin with, let's understand about your first stage of the exam, that is prelims. But even before that, it's about the knowledge aspect of it. So UPSC in its notification says that a well-educated person can answer all the questions, but they don't define who is a well-educated person. So in your context, what do you mean by gaining knowledge in UPSC? Can you share your version of that?
Yes, sir. Of course, sir. As you have correctly mentioned, UPSC says that a well-educated person can clear this exam. But, sir, even apart from that, sir, UPSC gives a syllabus. Although it is not a very detailed syllabus, but it gives the subjects which should be studied. And, sir, if one gets hold of a correct book list, for instance, sir, the book called Lakshmikant for Polity, and there are, sir, books in every subject, sir, which are considered to be pioneers of their discipline, sir. And if you get hold of that correct book list, I believe, sir, the journey becomes easier. And that is what, sir, I believe makes the difference, sir.
Correct. Wonderful. Yes. So it's about getting hold of the right material and prepare accordingly. Yes. Wonderful, Shivansh. So coming to the first stage of this exam, Shivansh, which was prelims, you cracked this exam in your third attempt, but you could not make it in the first attempt. So what did you do differently in your second and third attempt that made your performance consistent in the first stage of the exam?
Yes, sir. Sir, in my first attempt, I had heard the commonly said wisdom that if you give 100 mock tests, you will clear this exam, sir. So, sir, I blindly went for the mock test and I totally ignored the previous year papers, sir. And after that, sir, in my second and third attempt, sir, I realized that the previous year question papers, they cannot be skipped. So, sir, I started focusing on those previous year papers, sir. And I believe, sir, in a chronological manner, when I followed those papers, it somewhere expanded my mindset about UPSC. And it helped me analyze and realize how the paper of UPSC has evolved over the years, sir. And to some level, sir, I could predict what is going to be asked. So In fact, sir, I would like to add that, sir, in my third attempt for my prelims, I could prepare only for 4 days because I had expected to make it into the IAS in my second attempt, which I unfortunately could not. So even despite that preparation of 4 years, I had that mindset because of solving those papers over the previous year that I could easily clear it in my third attempt as well, sir.
I'm very glad, Shivansh, that you took our advice of working on previous year questions. To break it down to the audience, so it's all about first preparing your notes, and second is evaluating your efficacy of the notes through the previous year questions. And in the words of Shivansh, it's about learning through the questions and expanding your knowledge of your notes through the questions. Perfectly done, Shivansh, on this line. So in this regard, UPSC Prelims is said to be the most competitive part of the UPSC exam because of the sheer number that comes in. So when it comes to this uncertainty, Shivansh, of UPSC Prelims, how do you see that uncertainty? Is it really uncertain, or is there a science behind gaining certainty in that angle? Could you share your insight about it?
Yes, sir. Sir, from what my experience is, and sir, I have now interacted with a lot of toppers. Everybody has this wisdom that, sir, with lots and lots of reading and lots of practicing, you can maximum attempt 30 questions with certainty. And beyond that, sir, nobody knows the exact answers to those questions. So it is basically smart work and a lot of practice that comes in and that kicks in those moments, sir. So beyond those 30 questions, sir, I believe that nobody is very certain of the answers, but it finally boils down to how much you have practiced and how much you have evolved your own mindset in accordance with UPSC. And that is what, sir, makes the difference, and that is where I reiterate the importance of previous year papers, sir.
I appreciate Shivansh for being raw and real here, and this is exactly what we wish to tell you here, that not everyone knows everything. It's hardly 30 to 35 questions that a person can know, and the rest of it is about how you take a calculated risk, how you notice the tricks played by the examiner that can only be known through the previous year questions. Certainly. Thank you, Shivansh, for sharing that. So coming to the prelims part, now that you've done it, the next comes the mains part. So Shivansh, coming to the mains part of it. So this year we saw that you had almost 100% jump in your ethics, okay? So in this regard, what did you do differently in your ethics paper that made you get that 100% increase in your marks?
Yes, sir. Sir, last year I had secured 86 marks in my ethics paper, and this year I could make it up to 135 marks. So that was a jump of almost 50 marks, sir. And for that, sir, what I changed was previously, sir, I used to use an example bank which had very common examples which everyone would be using, sir. So this year, sir, I tried to introduce a differentiating factor. For that, sir, over the months, I collected examples and case studies of IAS and IPS officers from the newspapers. And I used selectively those examples in my ethics paper. And apart from that, sir, I believe that the main trouble which people face in ethics paper is that they do not sometimes realize how to attempt a question. For instance, if it is questions come in this fashion that honesty is the best policy, elaborate. So people finally do not realize what to elaborate because everybody knows that honesty is the best policy. So in that, sir, this year I tried to explore it through various dimensions, that how honesty can be inculcated, what benefits honesty can give in various spheres, for instance, professional life, public life, and private life, etc. So these two things, sir, I believe helped me increase my scores this year.
Wonderful, Shivansh. I'm very glad about that. So students, you need to understand a point here is that when it comes to your mains, you need to build your frameworks and have specific examples, as Shivansh rightly mentioned. And when your examples are specific, your arguments are more specific. That gives you more clarity and more marks. Very good, Shivansh. And also I noticed that you had a very consistent marks as a part of your GS2. So irrespective of the attempts, your marks have been consistent. So that means that your strategy was something very consistent. So what did you do differently there, Shivansh?
Sir, in GS2, sir, last year I scored 125 marks and this year it was 121 marks, sir. For that, sir, my strategy was to go with a simpler approach, sir. Because, sir, what happens is that students, they start using technical jargons more in the paper, and doing that, sir, they somewhere miss the point just to include those jargons in their answers, sir. Sir, my main focus was to address what was asked mainly, and in that, if I could use some flowery words, then it was okay. If I could not, then even that was okay, sir, because personally, I could not memorize a lot of judgments of Supreme Court. but I knew the substance of those judgments, sir. For instance, I did not know the name of the judgment which banned firecrackers in Delhi, but I just knew that there was one judgment. So simply I wrote example, a judgment banning firecrackers in Delhi. So I believe, sir, the examiner is somewhere looking for the substance and not what you have crammed up in this exam, sir. And that, sir, is what helped me maintain a consistent score, sir, this year.
So, to add on to the words of Shivansh, you need not actually mug up things, rather you need to understand and apply the things as knowledge. That's what the examiner is expecting upon. Very good. So, Shivansh, going further, when it came to the interview, again we saw a very consistent score in both your attempts.
Yes, sir.
And I would like to congratulate you for your success in this attempt.
Thank you, sir.
So, how was your interview experience, Shivansh, and what really you felt? As we discuss in the book, Unlock the Officer Within,
Yes, sir.
we always say that, and we always said to you that you don't become an officer after you clear the exam. Rather, when you build those officer qualities within you, throughout the journey, you become an officer. Could you share a little light upon your routines of the day and the habits you had at the mindset level that you did every day that made you into who you are today? Could you share that to the audience?
Sir, as you have pointed out, sir, my score in the interview stage has been consistent, sir. And I believe, sir, that somewhere for that an honesty of purpose is needed. And that honesty of purpose, as you again rightly mentioned, sir, it only comes by inculcating what you have mentioned in your DAF, in your daily life. For instance, sir, my hobby in my DAF was reciting Sanskrit stotras and shlokas. And sir, I used to recite those Sanskrit stotras and shlokas actually as a part of my daily morning rituals when I used to perform my prayers. And sir, they not only, sir, it was a hobby for me, they also helped me meditate in a sense, sir. And they helped me alleviate the stress of this preparation. So, moreover, sir, apart from that, I used to jog every day for this exam, and that is what I wrote in my DAF, sir. And again, sir, another hobby was reading classical Greek literature in English translation, which was actually a hobby for me since my background is in English literature. So I believe, sir, that honesty of purpose and what you really do should be mentioned in your DAF instead of finding some flowery things to impress the interview boards, which you do not do.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So to break down what Shivansh said, as we always discuss in this book, we always say that your preparation should not begin with prelims, rather should be with interview. The question that should come, as Shivansh rightly mentioned, is about why are you doing this exam? And whatever you are mentioning in your DAF, are you following it throughout the journey? And you reverse engineer the approach, you have the complete clarity towards the exam. So I'm very glad, Shivansh, that you cracked all the 3 stages in a very successful manner. So in this regard, Shivansh, how did you think our hand-holding really helped you sail through? Where did you think we came as a role for you, according to you?
Yes, sir. Sir, in my first attempt, I could not crack my prelims. In my second attempt, sir, I missed the main list and I came into the reserve list. So, sir, there were certain gaps in my preparation, sir, whether it be at the prelim stage or the main stage, sir. And when I came to know about your institute through a Telegram channel, sir, then, sir, finally I could zero down on my mistakes which I was making. Whether it be a lack of answer writing for my mains or a lack of practice for my prelims. So, sir, that is where, sir, you helped me finalize the final book list which I finally used, sir, and the number of mock tests to write for my mains, for my optional sociology, and that is how, sir, I benefited from your guidance, sir. Yes, sir.
So students, what I like to tell you is always remember that we show you the direction and you move in the direction. But remember, obstacles do tend to come. But the role of a mentor is to run along with you. You will find obstacles, just like how Shivansh shared with respect to the book list, with respect to the clarity of answer writing. But remember, when you discuss with the mentor, you find faster and better possibilities to overcome those obstacles. And that's what we aim to do. All the best, Shivansh. I congratulate you for your attempt and I wish you all the best for your upcoming career.